Listen up, ladies, here's the deal. We are feminine-bodied creatures living in a super overly masculine-focused culture, and it has a huge impact on our ability to not find balance within ourselves and in our lives. I'm going to highlight 5 different reasons why you're not able to really find balance and calm and peace within yourself because the feminine is suppressed in our culture. Thank you for being here. I love this topic. Make sure that you subscribe because this is just the beginning of a can of worms that you want to be a part of. I'm Michelle Baker. I am passionate about the movement of reclaiming the feminine. I'm the owner of Embodied Art Studio. I have degrees in psychology, counseling, and art therapy, and I love helping women find empowerment that is not the masculine way of doing things. Okay, so start with energy. There's energy all around us, there's energy inside of us, and you can break it down first into masculine and feminine. Neither one is stronger or weaker than the other. They are like magnets and they need each other to form a whole. In general, a woman tends to be predominantly feminine energied, but with also masculine energy inside. And that's why this is really important to us, because our culture is so far in the masculine that even women tend to utilize and be in the masculine more often than not because that's what's valued in our culture. So let's break down the different properties. How do you know what masculine and feminine are? When it comes to being on purpose, masculine energy wants to do for the greater good. There's a desire to contribute through the doing mode. The feminine, in her essence, her purpose is to express her true self. So just feel the difference there of like doing to contribute and expressing your true self. They really come from different places and look really different ways. In terms of knowing, the masculine is a thinking kind of knowing that's rational and planned out and analyzes things. And the feminine's way of knowing is feeling. So you might think of it as the head and the heart, or maybe the head and the body, right? That we have more gut knowing and intuitive knowing versus the rational mind. And when it comes to drive, what motivates the masculine, it's about purpose and achievement. Climbing the ladder, moving up towards success, checking things off the box. That's what the masculine energy loves. The feminine is driven by and motivated by what feels good. Ooh, this one was also hard for me because it just feels like a luxury. Like, really, how can I live my life and make decisions based on what feels good? But the feminine loves to be in sync with the natural rhythms of life and what wants to happen. And when she's in tune with that, she is just going off of like, ooh, this feels great, I want to do this. Ooh, that doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do that. So you can see that these are 2 really different ways of navigating through life. And remember, we all have both masculine, feminine energy within ourselves. And so it's not that you ever want to lean all the way into one or the other. And yet that is where our culture tends to be at, is we're all about the ladder and the like linear path to success. But it does mean that as a predominantly feminine energy body, you will want to navigate more from what feels good. And as far as I'm concerned, that requires a huge change in mindset. Speaking of mindset, where is your mind at right now? Have you learned anything that is surprising you? Share a takeaway right now in the comments below about masculine and feminine to you. Should have a pretty good flavor now of just the difference between the masculine and the feminine. To me, it feels like, like effort and oomph and push towards something, and the feminine feels like flow and listening and following and being in tune. And there's a subtlety to the feminine that requires that receptive mode, to be tuned into yourself and tuned into nature, whereas the masculine's like, I know what to do and I'm gonna do it. Okay, so that's the flavor of it all. And now I want to tell you 5 reasons why you can't find that balance that you really long to have within yourself that brings you calm and flow and ease. The first reason is that our culture is cut off from and does not value the being mode, the receptive mode. And so you are taught on a daily basis, consciously and unconsciously, that you should be performing and achieving and doing and providing all the time. And the more that you're in the masculine energy, the more you cut yourself off from the ability to be in the receptive mode. Just think about what it takes to really be able to receive. You have to be relaxed. You have to be still to get into a place where you can take in nourishment, take in energy, get creative, reflect on where you are. That can't actually happen when you're doing all the time. Number 2, because you are not going into that receptive mode very often, right? We think it's lazy, that we're wasting our time. Because we're not going into that mode, you're not taking the time to really feel into your life and reflect on what does feel good to you. I mean, really, to know what feels good to you, you have to be tuned into your body. You have to know what your baseline is and then know, hey, this feels really good and expansive and great, and this feels really contracted and bad, and I don't have to do that, right? You have to be able to be tuned into yourself to know how you're really feeling. Number 3, you can't find balance in your life because you're cut off from your intuition. It's that same kind of receptive being mode that gets you tapped into your feminine knowing. And that is a very wise place that will help you make important decisions in your life and guide you towards fulfillment. But you're not able to really listen to your intuition because she speaks quietly. She has a subtle language. And when we're in the rational mind all the time, we're not able to hear her. Or when she does come up, the rational brain shuts her down, asks her for a reason, and you're like, I don't know. Number 4, you are not having balance within yourself because you're not taking time to be creative and to express yourself. I actually just ran a workshop about overcoming creative blocks, and all of the women were helping me see that they don't think that it's valuable, that it feels like you have to be providing all the time. And if I sit and make art for 2 hours, how have I contributed to my family or to the finances? So we have this really bad judgment going on from our culture that says if it's not this certain type of value, then you shouldn't be doing it. And so we don't make creativity a priority in our lives. We feel guilty about it. We put it at the end of the to-do list every single day and every single week. And we are cutting ourselves off from this super important time to touch into how we feel and express it. And last, number 5, you're just not living your truth by being in masculine energy all the time in your relationships, when you go to work, when you're being a mom. If you're doing all the time, you're just not being in feminine energy. And whenever we're out of alignment with ourselves, it takes a lot more energy. If my truth is feminine and I'm constantly in masculine, then I am spending a lot more of my energy here and depleting myself. So you're not going to find the balance that you long for by finding the right yoga class and the right amount of caffeine and the right amount of not sleeping to get all these other things done. You're really not going to come into balance with who you are and find a real strong sense of peace and calm until you reclaim the feminine gifts for yourself. I hope that you feel inspired by this and that you want to make some of these changes right now in your life. That is amazing use of your masculine energy to benefit your feminine energy. And one thing that I'm super passionate about is having a conversation and really creating the movement around reclaiming the feminine, because this is huge. It's going to impact so many people's lives. So come and join my Facebook group, Reclaiming the Feminine. I've got links in the description below because I want to hear from you. I really want to hear your story and your wisdom and have you become part of this big community of women that are creating this momentum. And as always, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much here. I'm so excited to talk more with you about this. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel because this is going to change your life.